there anymore. It changed it.
Trying to make chicken salad out of chicken shit, and it was just awful.
I've turned chicken salad into chicken shit. I will continue to do so.
Making chicken salad out of chicken shit.
Make chicken salad out of chicken shit. People is as people does, that's all there is to it. Put a square peg in a round hole, just never seems to fit. And you
This is Bianca Belair.
Hey, this is Kevin Owens.
Hey, it's Seth freaking Rollins.
It is the man, Becky Lynch.
It's Rhea Ripley here, and you're listening to Wrestle Radio Australia.
Hello and welcome to Making Chicken Salad, the Wrestle Radio Australia show where we talk about everything going on around the world of wrestling. My name is Lachlan Albert and we are joined by the full crew this week. First off, the man behind the podcast, Mr. Todd Eastman. Todd, it's always good to see you, brother.
Good to see you too, my friend. It is humid as shit up here in Queensland, just so everyone knows.
Bloody awful. Having a broken aircon right now is killing me. But speaking of people with broken technology, let's hope the internet's working this week for Mr. Jeff Setti. Jeff, good to see you, mate. Good one, mate.
Good to see you too, Michael.
Professional comedian Jeff Setti there. And we are also joined by Mr. Jamie Apps. Jamie, always good to have you, mate.
Always good to be here. No tech issues here. All good.
Yeah, flying through, right?
You had a good 2 hours to work it out during the day, so...
I did have a good 2 hours worked out.
Was it a good 2 hours? I don't know. Was Dynamite good this week, Jamie?
It's pretty good. Pretty solid.
Oh, cool. They're on a hot streak. It's been good shows of late.
Yeah, and it feels like that's going around at the moment. Like, it feels like even when there's problems that we have with, and there's always going to be problems, but in general, it feels like wrestling companies are off to a hot start for the year, at least the ones that have been kicking off already, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's all starting to get into gear now. Like when you look at the what's coming up on the weekend, this weekend, it's an actual full slate now. So everyone seems to have come back from Christmas.
And a good slate of exciting shows too, right? Like it's things that aren't just, we're having a show. It's like, big companies are putting on shows with interesting ideas and big matches, and like it feels like we're kicking into action. And just quickly,
the Oz Pro show this weekend looks like a banger. Looks like a very good show.
They're set up to have a huge year this year. Like if they put on a few more shows this year, because they've had 5 shows total or something. If they can do more than that this year, they're going to be one of the big companies. And when it comes to kicking off, we're kicking off here too at Wrestle Radio Australia. I actually got to do an interview that I'm very excited about just this past week, so that'll be going up towards the end of this week, I believe. So keep your eyes on.
You can say who the interview's with, mate.
It's
not a secret.
No, I know. I'm building the anticipation because I got
okay.
Good broadcast
speak.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, my bad.
I personally think if you want to be ready when those kind of things drop, you should be subscribed to Wrestle Radio Australia. Obviously we're here every Thursday night at twitch.tv/Wrestle Radio Australia, but also subscribe on your, podcast catcher of choice, because you're going to have my interview with Cadie Tre, which will be going up towards the end of this week. Something that I had a really great time in that interview, and I'm really happy with how it turned out because Cadie had some really interesting and deep stuff to talk about that I think goes a bit beyond what you'll hear from a lot of, wrestler interviews. So I'm really happy with how that went and really excited for people to hear that one. And a big thank you to Cadie. If I'm sure the SWAT boys might send him a message and let him know that we're shouting him out here is apparently what it sounds like. So thanks so much, Cadie, for that interview. But, there's so much exciting stuff going on in terms of that, in terms of what we're doing here, in terms of shows we get to review. We're reviewing an awesome show this week. We're talking about EPW's Reawakening 24. This is a show coming from the tail end of last year in anticipation of their show coming up at the end of the month, Beware of Dog. If you want to get a hold of this one, you can head on over to EPW's Vimeo and grab it there. You can subscribe to their Vimeo and be able to see everything they've got up there, which runs back years of great shows. Or you can just buy each show individually or rent each show individually, and they are bargain basement prices for the quality of shows you're getting. And we say every time we talk about EPW, they put on shows with a production quality and a level of in-ring work that is just through the roof consistently, right?
Yeah, and for $5, to buy their shows that's so
outrageous.
Cheap. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and then just have it forever tied to your account. It's great.
They're very good shows. They work hard to put on a really, really good product. Really, you should watch more EPW.
Everyone should watch more EPW, and especially this. When we talk about Reawakening, that's the WrestleMania for EPW. It's their big show of the year. So always good to see that.
Enjoy the swim.
Now, I had showing me that he was swimming after he was just underwater, so that was great.
Yeah.
We're going to kick it off with while Mike Lachlan fixes his audio with Mikey Broderick defeating Solomon Blackwell in 6 minutes and 5 seconds as part of the Davis Storm Invitational Tournament in 2025, the first of the 2 semi-finals that we saw. Todd, what did you think of this?
It was good. They were quick. All of the semis were quick. Very hard to, you sort of just relaxed into the match and it was done, really. You think about it. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I was shocked. I didn't think Solomon, I knew what the results were, but going into this, I thought Solomon would probably make it to the final, if I'm being honest. But no, a good little taste. I'd like to see what they could do given more time. But it also fed into the storyline of the Invitational Tournament, which is now the Davis Storm Tournament as well. I forgot to change it on there. But it fed into the storyline through that tournament of Mikey Broderick not getting pinned the whole way through. So it was the set up for that final. What did you think, Jamie?
Yeah, I agree with you. It was just getting rolling, and then it was done. I was like, oh, okay. But the thing I just wrote down was Mikey Broderick is maybe one of the most underrated talents in the country.
Oh yeah,
because he's always reliable. Like, I don't think I've seen a bad Mikey Broderick match. He's just always there, always does what needs to be done for the match, not necessarily trying to showcase himself. It's just he wants to put on a good match with whoever is on the other side.
I also I was just going to say I prefer this version of Mikey so much to the squat jokester version of Mikey. I think this has real humanity behind it. There's a really interesting, nasty heel. Just he looks great. He backs it up in the ring. He's great at wrestling. He's good looking. What a great heel. Like, what an absolutely fantastic heel. Why be a babyface when you're that good as a heel?
Especially when he's so hard hitting. That's the thing that I took away from both of the Broderick matches on here, was that you never feel like when his opponent goes down, it's not weakness on their part. It's pure strength on Broderick's part, right? Like, here we saw, this was 6 minutes for Mikey to beat Blackwell. And as much as you would go, oh, is that bad for Blackwell? It's not, because Broderick is just a machine. And when he beats someone, you go, yeah, it makes sense that you would get pinned after that, right? I thought that this was the amount that they got done in 6 minutes here was fantastic. And Andy Savage is exactly right, saying, I don't know why Solomon Blackwell isn't everywhere. He reminds me of Damian Priest, but with charisma.
I'm gonna come out in defense of Damian Priest here. He's got oodles of charisma. They're just not booking him well. Go back and watch Punishment Martinez in Ring of Honor, and you'll see a guy with an enormous upside and a lot of charisma. And it's clear that the company just aren't doing much with him. He's in that fucking feud with Aleister Black. He's been in it for about a year now. Let's just move them both on.
I think it says a lot for Blackwell when you compare him to Damian Priest and get defensive of Priest.
Yeah. I'm not disagreeing with you, Andy, but Priest has got charisma, man.
I also think you'll find that's kind of by Solomon's design. Like, he doesn't want to be everywhere, because he wants to be wherever he is. It's a special thing. You get to see him. So he's not going to be...
he's an attraction.
Yeah, he's not going to be everywhere every week. He's going to be when he is somewhere, that's when you're going to want to go and see him. So he doesn't hang around for you to get sick of him. He's there and then he's gone. And then you want to see him, but then you're only going to see him in the places where he thinks is the best for him, which is smart. So very smart.
And not only that, like places where the story involves
territory days.
Right?
Yeah, definitely. But that's like he's a smart guy. He knows how to market himself so very well.
He's also a very, very cool man. Like, you meet him and he's like just such a cool guy. He really is. You're like, oh, I want to be like you, man. You're cool.
Yeah, I want to be like Solomon Blackwell when I grow up, for sure. I think that the fact that this match ended with, making you excited for more Blackwell, Damian Slater stuff in the future is a testament to how good both of those guys are. That, as we'll talk about in a second, both of them didn't manage to win these semi-final matches, but still continued a story involving someone who was not their opponent in that match. Like, that's really excellently done, which takes us to another, as we said, short EPW Davis Storm Invitational semi-final with Lucas Fantasia managing to beat Damian Slater here. I like that Fantasia is winning with these quick, sudden bursts of wrestling skill, right? It's not that he's going to fight his way through everything the whole match. It's that he is a good professional wrestler who is going to see his moment, capitalize on it, and get the win by getting the pin when it's his moment. I really like this match. It made Slater look like a dangerous dude while making Fantasia look like a winner. And And again, with both of these matches, you see the heel just being aggressive and the babyface managing to get through it. Jamie, what did you think of Fantasia and Slater?
Yeah, I really like this one too because it was, like you said, Lucas came out of this with skill, not luck. It wasn't a fluke win. He used his talent to get the win and capitalized on Damien being unfocused. He was too busy being annoyed that Solomon had just lost a match rather than what you would expect him to be happy that Solomon lost a match. Like, his big rival didn't make it to the final. You'd think he'd be like, oh, awesome, sweet, I don't have to face him in the final. But they twisted it and made it so that he was annoyed that that had happened and ended up costing him because of it.
Yeah, Jeff, thoughts?
Every time I watch Slater wrestle, I'm just astounded at how smooth the guy is and how much he makes. Like 5 minutes, 30 seconds, 5.5 minutes, and Slater still puts on a complete match. It's not a spot fest. It's got psychology. It's got intelligence. And he's in Perth. I mean, if that's not enough to get you to EPW, I don't know what is. Like, this was just a really good showing by both. But I specifically watched Slater. I specifically watched what Damian Slater does because he's so easy to watch. There's never a foot wrong. His footwork is incredible. His presence is over the top. Then he just strings these incredible moves together, and I'm like, geez, this is great. It's just terrific.
Yeah, and Macho Man Andy Savage nails it, saying this might have been one of the best 5-minute matches I've ever seen. The action was quality, and it felt like they achieved a bunch in that time. Yeah, very true. Moving on here, there's a number one contendership on the line for the EPW tag team titles with ATO, Australian Takeover, Julian Ward and Kaz Jordan managing to get the win over the teams of the House of Free Spirits, Faisal Ali and the Great George, the Pulse, Felix Young and Jared Slate, and DNT, Chris Target and Michael Morleone with Stella Nix. I think that this one maybe suffered a little bit from knowing that heels have the title. And normally in a gauntlet, I feel like heels capitalizing on a downed babyface team is the way a gauntlet normally flows. So it gave it a little bit of predictability when babyfaces came out last, but they still did a good job of having the heels not, give them an easy fight and make them struggle for it. I adore the Pulse's pile driver stomp combo. That's one of my new favorite moves ever. It's so cool.
Never seen anything like it either.
No, it was really clever.
I wrote that down as well.
The House of Free Spirits are a great, fun way to establish a heel team in this, right? So, like, as much as the Pulse are on the more babyface side, when they beat the House of Free Spirits, it looks aggressive, and I really like that. DNT are they're the nuts. We've talked about it plenty of times. Everything they do is brilliant, and ATO getting the win here, I think, is excellent, and it led directly into the purveyors of work rate, the champions, coming out and saying we'll have that match right now, getting themselves disqualified, which let ATO get their choice of stipulation for rematch next show and called Double Dog Collar. I'll pass to Todd. What did you think of this tag team title number one contendership gauntlet into a tag title match?
The gauntlet was okay. It was good. A little bit of a mix up in the DNT fall thing with Stella. Just a positioning thing really, which for a second took you out of it. That Pulse finisher is great. I hated the finish, and we talked about this off air, but I equate it to, if you're at WrestleMania, you shouldn't be setting up a match for Backlash. Do you know what I mean? You shouldn't be setting up the match for Raw at your big show. Like, it's Reawakening. I know there was another title change that night, but still, if you were going to do it, you might have wanted to do it on this show. I don't know. That's my only, I can't say much of the match. It only went for 2 minutes. So it's like that when I saw that and I saw the GM coming out, I thought, oh, he's going to restart this and they'll get into this and have it just say, look, if you guys get yourself DQ'd, you lose the titles.
Yeah.
That's where I thought this was going. And then when I was like, oh, the match is just over. Okay. That's weird.
I thought they were going in a different direction, Todd, and I was disappointed when they went, oh, we're going to do the match at the next show. I mean, it's understandable why, because you wanted the ticket sales, but I thought that they were going to have the ATO chasing the purveyors until the next Reawakening, or for a fair bit of the year.
Well, they've already been chasing them. They've already been chasing them for a while. Like
I know
the other EPW shows. Like chasing him for 2 years is really kind of a.
It's very WWE.
It is very WWE, but it's also, you've got to remember, in that 2 years, there's 6 shows a year. So it's that old thing of 12 shows a year, maybe. Well, not 12, but there's a limited number of shows.
When you've only got 6 shows a year, and then, like I find this the same as with Pro League. It's the one thing I do have a bit of a thing about with Jesse, and I completely understand there's only X amount of shows a year. But that being said, I don't feel like fans want to keep seeing the rematch 3 times out of that 6.
For sure. Unfortunately, well, yeah, I agree and disagree with you, because if you look at MCW, which has 8, Rocky and Dusky were our feud of the year last year, and they wrestled a bunch of times, both in tag mains.
But that wasn't for a prize. That was a personal thing. These guys are wrestling for the title.
It was so Edward Dusk could finally get his hands on that Tar Heel Los Alberto. Now, I'm not sure.
He's a baby face. He's got to be a nice guy now, right?
Yeah. You've been the heel the whole time, though.
I know.
Yeah. You're free on YouTube bullshit.
Anyway,
but I thought
Todd's the heel in that feud, let's be honest. Anyway.
Like, as a match, this was great. As a match, like the 24 minutes was fantastic. There's so much to like about DNT still. Like, they're just both so good at what they do. And Stella gets such insane heat in that building. Like, she can barely be heard over the boos, which is fantastic. I really like the tag, the gauntlet. And I do agree with you, Todd, though. They should have had the 4 of them standing in the ring, and then, oh, you've won, you think you can beat us. Well, why don't you come up with a stipulation for the next match? And then that would have been fine. But I agree, the 1 minute 50 was, it was nothing. Yeah,
they went through all of that, then just to have a 2-minute thing where it's like, well, and come back next show, because this is when we're going to have the actual match. It's just didn't leave a great taste in my mouth when I came to it.
I could have even seen, like, if the purveyors of work rate came out and said, oh, now you've got to fight us now, and then when the crowd gets all excited about, oh, we might see a title change here, just as they get to the ring, they turn around and go, actually, no, we're not going to do this now, and just leave.
Yeah.
And, like, tease the audience in that way and then not give them what they want. I think that would have worked maybe a bit better, rather than 2 minutes
actually giving them a title shot and then DQ themselves. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And also, like, you mentioned Stella, like, being in a great spot with DNT. It is awesome that she has these opportunities to talk more on these shows. I would also like to see her wrestle a bit more as well.
She's a good in-ring wrestler. I think that the problem is that,
there's not a lot of people to work with, maybe?
They've lost a lot of their female gendered workers. So, which is why the Roxy is such a great idea, which we'll come to later.
Yes. Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
I think that there's a glut of great female identifying wrestlers in Sydney and Melbourne now, which are growing, and it's fantastic. But it does mean that some of the other states are missing out a little bit.
Yeah, I think EPW have some, but they're on like that next tier down. They're on the sort of the training shows before they get to these big ones.
Well, what Perth does have a glut of, though, in terms of talent, is those guys who are breaking through the mid-card and putting on awesome performances there as they build up through their careers. And that's what the EPW Coastal title has been for recently. And on this show, Rogan Kargas did not manage to defend that title. The war boy, Dustin Connors, becoming the new Coastal champ. Jamie, what did you think of Dustin Connors versus Rogan Kargas for the EPW Coastal title?
I love this. This was one of my favorite matches on the show. You can totally see the Slater and Pitt influences in Dustin. Like, it's just crazy how much he's taken bits of both of them and made it his own thing. The finish kind of annoyed me. It kind of made Matt Clark look like a bit of an idiot. Where he was fiddling with the turnbuckle when Kargas got the win, and then just threw it away and gave up on it to see Dustin get the win. I was like, okay, that was weird.
Yeah, I like the idea that, you know, Dustin was keeping an eye on what was going on, so tapped out because he knew that the ref wasn't looking, and that was going to get him out of that submission, which is psychology that I like, and that feels, you know, very student of the game type thing, which I think works for his character. Todd, what did you think of Connors and Kargas?
We literally just saw that this week on Raw with Gunther and AJ.
Yep.
Where Gunther tapped where the referee couldn't see, so AJ let the hold go and allowed the match to keep going. So, like, yeah, I like that little thing. For someone who doesn't overly or hasn't overly been really pushed in EPW, like he's been the war boy, but legitimately, well, not legitimately, like sort of portrayed as their gopher for the longest time. When he's out from that shadow of those guys, that's when you look at him and go, he can be the next guy. They should just say, hey, you are now TMDK. You're our youngest guy. Well, not our youngest, but you know what I mean. You're our guy now.
Like, you're our Vegeta.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because he's got everything it takes. He's got the look.
Oh, yeah.
He's got the charisma. He's got, like, and the charisma shows when he's not around those guys. Mainly because that's not his role when he's with those guys. So, yeah, I love.
And that's actually a skill, right? To know where the spotlight is and not take it.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. It's very New Japan-y. Well, like when you're the ringside guy, you don't make out that you're even there. Like, you wouldn't have known that Jag was at New Year's Dash, except for he was the one that was carrying their six-man tag belts. Aside from that, you wouldn't have known he was even there because that wasn't his spot for that night. It was really good. Like, Dustin Connors, for me, like, I knew he was a good worker, but this one really, like, stood out to me as, like, this guy has every potential to be, like, the next guy for EPW when these other dudes decide to, like, shorten up their schedule a bit. Especially, like off the top of my head, I would love for him to defend that Coastal title against Solomon and beat him, which would piss Damien off to no end.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my thought is, look, Warboy's great now. Imagine him when he leaves TMDK as a face, and they're just, because that's probably the end game. Like, at some point you'd say,
I don't know, people rarely leave TMDK.
It seems that way. It seems that way. But, you know, I think that he's young enough that the idea is that he's going to stick around until something pisses them off. And then, you know, we're off to the races. It's going to be great. Yeah, big fan. I really like this match. Rogan Kargas was great in that losing role. Like, I think we need to acknowledge that. And really, really, there was some spots there where it could have gone either way. Really enjoyed it.
He's had a very good reign with that championship. For being someone who was... Yeah. Because, I mean, really, I think when he got into it, he was like the third member of a group. and I mean like third in ranking. And
Yeah.
like by the end of that reign, you're like, okay, this kid's really good. So yeah, hats off to him as well. Again, this was like Jamie. This was really close to match of the night for me.
What I like
this-
what I like that EPW do really, really well is they put faith in somebody that's a bit unknown and surprising. So when Hartness won the championship, people were legitimately like, "Oh wow, it's great," but we didn't see it coming. And I think that's what EPW do really well. They build them up quietly to then win the belt. And I'm saying that in the reference that Rogan Kargas, it wouldn't surprise me if in the next 2 to 3 years he has a run with that heavyweight title, because you know he showed his druthers, as it were, with the coastal title.
Well, also
And I think-
Hartness doesn't exactly have the prototypical look of someone that they've
No.
put that belt on.
And isn't it great?
I also think that it's worth acknowledging, right? The reason that it's a surprise when someone like Hartness wins the belt, in a lot of companies, Hartness would just be the top guy. The reason that it comes as a shock is the quality of workers that EPW has consistently, right? The Damian Slaters and the Michael Brodricks of the world and the Marcus Pitts of the world, like they could just hold the top titles forever and win everything, and everyone would be fine with it because they're unreal. But EPW puts faith in those younger talent, and that's another time we saw it here was in the Invitational Tournament final. So Davis Storm came out with the trophy because it's now the Davis Storm Invitational, which I love. I think that's so cool. And Mikey Broderick and Lucas Fantasia, who did so much work as a tag team, clearly know each other super well, know how to work each other, and really trust each other. Because, man, some of the shots that Broderick was putting in here, holy cow. There were moves where I couldn't believe that he had gone for it that hard. He just splattered Fantasia all over the ring. And then Fantasia, like we said before, out-wrestled. It wasn't, luck. It was he was up in the razor's edge and managed to flip that into a, almost Code Red style situation to get the pin. Just really good pro wrestling here. A great bit of shine for Fantasia. I loved this match. This is a big nasty heel versus a scrappy underdog babyface through and through. I thought this was really good. Jamie, what did you think of it?
I just had one note for this one. Booked perfectly, right down to even the way they finished it, and it fed into the entire story of the tournament as well. It wasn't just a story that involved Lucas and Mikey. It was their entire tournament story where Mikey was just dominating people all tournament, winning everything, and Lucas was kind of lucky in a way to get to this point. He started off really poorly, losing a few matches, and then went on a bit of a run to get to the final, and that's what this match was. He started off getting just dominated, and then put a few things together at the end and got the win. Brilliant stuff.
Jeff, thoughts on the Davis Storm Invitational final?
I thought all up the tournament was very good. The final played beautifully. You can see that the two of them know each other well and trust each other a hell of a lot. As a bully heel, Mikey Broderick is great. As I said earlier, he's like a total package. And Lucas Fantasia is such a good sympathetic babyface. He's got that, he looks at the camera and the crowd, and they're all instant sympathy. Really, really good. A fun match as well. It was a blast to watch. Because they both had such defined characters going in. Really, really good stuff. And I think the right person won. But whether he goes up against Hartness or someone else is, kind of what remains to be seen. But I think he's going to go up against Dustin and lose. Because doesn't the winner of the Invitational get a title shot at a title of their choice?
I believe so.
I don't know if it's the title of their choice or if it's just the title.
Yeah, right. If it's the title, then, Hartness against Fantasia is going to be great, but it's going to divide the crowd very strongly. very, very strongly.
There's a lot of opportunity for them to add a third man to that match, though, which wouldn't surprise me. Right?
No, it wouldn't.
Now,
It wouldn't.
Now, before you move on to the main, mate, I just have a little bit of a kind of an issue, but not really an issue, because I mean, you can't complain with the way that the crowd reacted to the win. But I kind of felt like both of Lucas's, like his semi-final and his final match, were basically the same match but with different people. It was just like, I'm going to beat you up for 99% of it, then you're going to get a roll-up. Like he's done that with he did that with like Damien, and then he went to the Mikey, and Mike is like, okay, now for this match, I reckon what we'll do is I'll beat you up for 99% of it, then you can get a roll-up. And it just, like, like watching it, I'm just like, oh, that was just kind of a longer version of the match he had with Slater. Really.
Yeah.
That's true, and it was kind of both of those matches back to back. I do think that in a broader sense, John Cena had the same match from 2008 to about 2015 every match. So,
Yes,
like...
True, but Lucas Fantasia is not John Cena.
Yeah.
And like with their history with Mikey, they maybe could have twisted it so that he knew Mikey was going to do something to then counter it and hit his own finisher, just to have a little bit of a stamp on the end of it.
Yeah, he could have got a little bit more, is what I'm saying. Especially like you said, like he has a whole history with Mikey, so like presumably he knows his moves, he knows his moveset, he knows what he's going for next. He should be like the difference in room of growth of a Mikey Broderick as to a Lucas Fantasia between them breaking up and them meeting each other. Lucas has a lot more room to grow as a competitor, as a worker, as a wrestler, than what Mikey does. So
that's
like,
a fair point.
It could have been something where where Lucas is like, yep, this is who I was when we broke up. I'm a lot better now. I've learned, I know what you're doing. I can come up with a counter. I can come up with a thing. I can finish this with my finish. Like that. I think that's
here's a move you've never seen before.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, especially when those two matches pretty much finish the same way.
Yeah. I personally, I understand with what you're saying, and I don't disagree, but I enjoyed both the matches, and I think the stories they told were really good. So I think it's a valid criticism, but not something that affected my enjoyment of it, personally. What I will say that I did enjoy is that EPW chose to have something happen while they were setting up the cage for the main event, right? I like that they're continuing to, have things going on the stage. And I think Bruno Nitro in this, heel perspective of getting involved in Davis Storm's retirement match. And we saw the promo earlier of him getting kicked out of every part of the locker room for it. I think that's a really fun story to tell. I think that's, an interesting button to put on it. I really liked that, and giving the crowd something to watch while the cage got assembled, I think is a great idea as well, even if I think it may have gone a little long for what it was. But if they needed that time to get the cage up, then that's the time they needed, right? Moving on, though.
I think it was hard when you're giving a guy who, like, English isn't his first language to be able to hold a crowd for, was it 8 minutes? Something like that?
Oh, yeah.
It was a while.
That's a long time, especially when like his English is good, but it's not great. So, and a lot of times with that, it's hard for them to convey emotion because they're trying to get the words right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, aside from like that was the only thing I kind of felt like it dragged, and maybe they had to drag it because something was going on with the cage, or I don't know what. But like to me, I'm just like, at this point of the show, I'm just like, yeah, I get it now.
Let's move along. Let's move along.
Yeah,
it's the advantage of having it on Vimeo, as you can fast forward a little bit of that promo. Hey,
that's right.
Great stuff. But the result of that cage setup was the main event, the EPW heavyweight title on the line in a steel cage match. The champion James Hartness, the challenger Marcus Pitt, 1-on-1 in the cage. Let's go to you first, Todd. What did you think of the main event between Hartness and Pitt?
Yeah, it's shit. I would not like to be, even if I knew that this was a work, I would not like to be in a cage with Marcus Pitt.
No, not at all.
Anyway, even if I knew what he was about to do, I still don't want to be there. You know what I mean? Like, the dude is as close to a Brock Lesnar type as we have in Australia. When you get him in that cage, in that environment, it's like, you look at him and you're like, Jesus Christ, that's intimidating. So, and I think that James, although his character is very much a kick-ass character, played a great sympathetic face in this when he was in peril, when he was getting his ass handed to him by, and just that thing when Marcus is climbing out of the ring, and you could hear like Hartness calling back, going, "I'm not finished, motherfucker, come back." Do you know what I mean? It's like, yes, that's when you're like, yeah, fucking get him, kid. You know what I mean? I really enjoyed that. I thought it was great.
And so many little great touches. I loved seeing Hartness hit the wicked end, right? Like just acknowledging the world outside of this event and this company is like, yeah, we've seen Hartness and Dusk be friends on social media. And so he's going to pay tribute to that and go, there's a move that I know wins matches, and do it. Like, that's great stuff. Jeff, what did you think of...
Sorry, before you... During this show as well, I love the fact that the commentators acknowledge what these guys have been doing in other feds, in other places. Oh, that was a really good touch, because people might know who watch EPW religiously, and that's all that they watch. They might know this, but like people like you and I who watch MCW, we see these guys, and it's just good that they acknowledge that, hey, this guy's having a great year. He's been doing this and this and this. I thought that was a really good touch by these guys.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Jeff, what did you think of the heavyweight title steel cage match between Hartness and Pitt?
I mean, this is a match that was never, ever going to be anything but stellar. What I noticed most about this is the opposites. They're polar opposites in every conceivable way. They are absolute polar opposites. Even in wrestling styles, Pitt is a scientific bruiser, and then Hartness will just kick the fucking shit out of you. And it's just so good. Hartness is probably a bit of an unsung hero in some ways, in that I think that when he got the title, a lot of people were a little bit sort of, oh, really, that guy? And now he's just won him over. No one's doubting him anymore. He is a guy who will go out there, absolutely out of you, tear it up, and do every single thing he has and leave it in the ring. And I think that is fantastic. Thanks, Todd. I've got so much respect for James Hartness, the character, and James Hartness, the person. And by geez, Marcus Pitt's a great dance partner. Not just for him, but you look at the stuff he was doing with Jesse Lambert. You look at everything he's done over the past 5 to 10 years in EPW, and the guy's a star. You said that earlier, Lachlan, you said that you're shocked that Slater and Pitt don't always have the heavyweight title. They're not there to have the heavyweight title. They're there to make stars. And by geez, Marcus Pitt absolutely made a star in Reawakening 24. Absolutely, without a doubt. Hartness is now made.
Macho Man Andy Savage agrees with you, saying this match fucking ruled, and this babyface character of Hartness needs to be studied. There are so few proper babyfaces in wrestling, guys that you care about and are invested in for their positive traits. Couldn't agree more. Jamie, what did you think of Hartness versus Pitt in the cage?
I loved this because it was a great match, not a great cage match. Like, it felt like the cage elements were just sprinkled in there to heighten it. It wasn't, or every single thing is involving the cage, which is like tends to be what happens with cage matches. It ends up just being guys getting thrown into the cage over and over again, trying to escape. And it's like, they didn't do a lot of that. The moments where they did it just added to the match and was just awesome. And I loved there was a moment when Marcus was throwing James into the fencing, and then he paused for a moment and like slapped the framing of the cage, and then threw him into that, just to like signify to the crowd, like, I'm going to hit this bit that's much harder than this bit. It just added that extra element. It was like awesome.
That's smart.
Yeah, you can see that these guys really know what they're doing, both in character and in structuring a match, right? This show was top to bottom, just really great stuff. You can absolutely, it is worth going out of your way to catch EPW Reawakening 24, which you can find on EPW's Vimeo. That's at vimeo.com/EPW Perth to get a hold of this one. Are there any other overall thoughts other than this show whipped?
Yeah, no, I thought it was great. It was great. Like, yeah, I know that it's different from most everything else that we review where it's free on YouTube, but you have to pay a little bit for this one. It's well worth the money to pay for this. Like, great production. The fact that they have the backstage segments as well just added to the show. Like, I can understand why they do. If they're not going to do this live, if they can't do it live, if it's too hard technically for them to do it live in Perth, because it is Perth, doing it like this when you can splice in those backstage segments really adds something different to what I don't think most other promotions in the country do.
And being live, I don't think there would be a huge benefit for them being in Perth either, because it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't be at a great time for the East Coast.
No,
and also
selfish for us to want to watch it when it's happening.
Yeah.
Where would you put it? Where would you put it? I mean, would you broadcast it live to your Vimeo?
You would do it on YouTube.
That probably won't get the
MCW do and everyone else do. That's what you would do, but
it would have to be YouTube. But
yeah,
it'd be what?
But
It'd start at like
10:30
on East Coast time or something.
Yeah, but also like nowadays too, if they wanted to on YouTube, you can actually set up where you pay to watch something on YouTube.
YouTube memberships, yeah.
Yeah, like you could do that if you wanted to, but yeah, I think if you just wanted to watch that one match, that's cool. If you wanted to pay the $9 a month, you're still going to get your money's worth for every show.
Oh, the value on there is crazy.
Absolutely.
Just the back catalog alone is worth $9 a month.
Yeah, I highly recommend.
My only note, and it's echoing what Jamie said, which is it would have been nice to have a women's match as long as players in Perth are ready, but that's a small criticism for what was an excellent show.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see what's next for EPW, and I can tell you exactly what it is. It's EPW Beware of Dog, and it's happening on the 31st of January. That's got matches like Jesse Lambert versus Jay Taylor. It's got Chris Target versus the Great George one-on-one. That's going to be one of the funniest matches I've ever seen while also being stellar in ring. I can't wait to see that. You got the EPW Coastal title on the line with Dustin Connors defending against Gavin McGavin in what's going to be a showcase there for Connors, I reckon. Slater and Blackwell back at it again, this time best 2 out of 3 falls. And in the main event, like we were talking about earlier, the EPW tag team titles, a double dog collar match with the Purveyors of Work Rate versus ATO for those tag team titles. What a wildly stacked card for, like we said, this is like the Backlash. This is the show after the big show of the year. And you've got a lineup like that already is just unreal.
Yeah, I mean, like Slater and Blackwell is worth the price of admission.
Oh, well and truly.
Boy,
I think Dustin and Gavin could be a sleeper too.
Oh, 100%. But, they didn't have to do this dog collar match. Like, Blackwell and Slater will be what sells tickets. Do you know what
That'd
I mean?
be a main event enough.
Wrestling fans. Yeah. So, yeah.
But
great
at
show.
the same
really
time,
like, when that pops up on Vimeo.
Oh, yeah. That double dog collar match is going to go, right? Like, we've seen what Chris J. Lazarus is willing to do, like, in these types of matches where he is the dastardly heel who gets his comeuppance. Elijah Henry's ascended so quickly, and ATO are just bloody good. Like, that's going to be great. There's so much on this card to look forward to. So, EPW, beware of dog on the 31st. If you're in Perth, get along to it.
I think it's outstanding to consider that, 3 years ago, Lazarus was essentially a manager. He was essentially working as a mouthpiece, and now he's just a star. What a great turnaround from the guy. Fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
And looks great. Got a great look.
Well, look, that's coming up in just a couple of weeks' time on the 31st. Let's look at the other shows that are coming up in a couple of weeks' time, and then we'll circle back to what's coming up this weekend. First of all, let's talk about MCW Anniversary 2026. So this is happening next month. It's on the 21st of February, and we've got 3 matches announced so far for this one. We've got one-on-one Matt Hayter and Edward Dusk. That's going to be wild. Then you've got the MCW World Heavyweight title on the line with Robbie Thorpe defending against Jarvis. And as well as that, the MCW Women's title is going to be on the line in a 3-way match with Erica Reed, Katie Lux, and Shay Cassidy. If those are the 3 matches we know so far for a show that's happening on the 21st of February, you know that MCW Anniversary is going to be off the chain. So make sure you get along to it. Later this month, though, if you're in the Melbourne area, you've got Renegades of Wrestling on January 23rd and 24th. They've got a big 2-night event. So far, we know that on night 1, there's going to be winner-take-all for the Renegades of Wrestling Championship with Waterman versus Hendricks. And on night 2, there's going to be a contendership battle royal for the Renegades Women's Championship and the Renegades Tag Team Championships on the line with Bastard Brothers versus High Life. As well as that, over the 2-day event, there's going to be a tournament to crown the inaugural Australian champion for Renegades of Wrestling.
Now, this bracket only dropped 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, this is breaking as we're here. So we've got in Block A, the first match is Matty Romano versus Tyson Reed, and in Block B, Anth Kava versus JXT. Those are the 2 Block A matches. Then over in Block B, you've got Sam Yanis versus Jarvis, and you've got JJ Furno versus Jackson Atlas. That is a wild tournament where out of those 8 guys, hard to say, oh, that guy can't win. You know what I mean? Like, that is stacked with potential winners.
Yeah, it's very much, there is no like, oh, that guy's winning this one.
Yeah.
No, like a lot of these tournaments you can look at and go, oh yeah, that's who's winning this one. Like, I couldn't even tell you who the final would be, to be honest with you.
If you told me Anth Kava versus JXT was the final, that'd make sense. It's a first round match. If you told me Sam Yanis versus Jarvis was the final, that'd make sense. It's a first round match. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many potential winners here. Worth mentioning, as Macho Man Andy Savage dropped in the chat too, there was one other MCW match announcement, and that's Aisha versus Ari Nicole. So Andy Savage saying, I'm so happy they're giving Ari a shot already. That's going to be a bloody great match.
Yeah, well,
we saw their match last week. It was great.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, and we
MCW, listen. That's all I'm saying.
We talked about how good that finish was with the gory into
You'll
the
get the
turnbuckle.
message later.
So,
100%.
But let's bring it back a little bit closer because there's matches happening this weekend too. You know, Australia's a hotbed for wrestling. It's always going on. This weekend, if you're in Sydney, PWA's got the Hottest 100 party. It's going to be live on YouTube. So, you know, I'm going to be watching that with the Hottest 100 on. It's going to be a hell of a day. Check out this lineup. You've got a 4-way match for the Soul of PWA Championship with Hari Singh versus Shay Cassidy versus Paris De Silva versus the Tuck Man. And they talk about a match that could go a number of ways. Like, that'll be a banger. You got Aaron Jake taking on PPK in a 1-on-1 match. You've got MK Plus Ultra versus North Shore Wrestling. You've got RANGA versus Manu and Manush. You've got Ben Braxton versus Mick Moretti. You've got a dumpster match with Lockie McIntyre versus Scott Green. Very excited for the second best Australian pro wrestling podcaster named Lockie to be on PWA. And the PWA Heavyweight Championship with Chevs versus Big Fudge. Like, that's going to be such a fun show. Macho Man Andy Savage mentioning PWA show doesn't actually coincide with the Hottest 100. Like, no, because you want to be able to do both live, right? You don't want to be pausing the show to listen to what's number one. Like, they shouldn't coincide. But a great theme for a show. So the Hottest 100 party this Saturday, live and free on YouTube.
It'll also be the one that we do review next week as well.
So make sure you're watching it so you can keep up. Let's talk about, we talked about that show coming up Saturday, 17th of January. There's other shows happening this weekend. If you're in New South Wales and you're not going to PWA's Hottest 100 on Saturday, the 17th of January, you could also go to Australian Wrestling Superstars Walking Tall. You can go to All-Star Wrestling Australia's New Horizon. Rose in the chat saying, can this be the summer of fudge? I believe too, Rose. I've been shouting for summer of fudge for a long time.
Gullible.
I believe that Will Keatis might play a part in that somehow.
Yeah, I think Jamie's call is quite right.
That
Will Keatis, who's going to be in Coliseum, right? Interesting. Elsewhere this weekend, in Queensland, Venom Pro Wrestling has Unchained 5 this Saturday, January 17th. Over in South Australia, Adelaide Championship Wrestling has New Dawn on Saturday, January 17th. And also on the 17th is Pro Wrestling South Australia's Coldavani Summer Rumble. In Victoria, also on Saturday, the 17th, you've got Oz Pro Wrestling's Fight of the Valkyries. We were talking about that at the top of the show. You've also got MXW Wrestling's Blast at the Beach. And then on Monday, the debut show for Dominion Wrestling, Single Shot, on January 19th. Meanwhile, over in Western Australia, we were talking about EPW earlier. The Explosive School of Pro Wrestling has Goth New Year on Saturday, January 17th. And tomorrow night, Friday, January 16th, New Horizons Pro Wrestling has Morley Mayhem. If we're looking forward to the future of wrestling that's coming in Australia soon, we can look at World Series Wrestling Rise Against. That's going to be in Adelaide on Friday the 15th of May at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre. It's going to be in Melbourne on Saturday the 16th and Sunday the 17th of May at the Melbourne Pavilion. And in New South Wales on Monday the 18th of May, it's going to be at Panthers Penrith. If you're in New South Wales, I think you're out of luck because that one's sold out. If you're in one of those other cities, get onto worldserieswrestling.com.au to check out tickets to see people like Bishop Dyer, the Good Brothers, Nick Nemeth, Shotzi, Killer Cross, Scarlett Bordeaux, Priscilla Kelly, Matt Riddle, Man Like DeReese, Myla Grace, The Perea, Los Alberto. Just going to be so much fun, that show. Can't wait to see Los Alberto there. Also, I'm going to bring it back up a bit because thanks for the smile on that one, Jeff. Love to hear it. We've got, we talked about EPW, so it's worth mentioning something that's going on over there, the pro wrestling camp, which I believe is sold out because it's just if you're aspiring to do more in pro wrestling, there's no reason not to be there. And the Roxy Riot Pro Wrestling Scholarship is returning with 2 scholarships on the line. So applications for that are closing this Saturday, January 17th. So if you
female pro wrestlers.
If you are a female pro wrestler in Australia, make sure you submit email info@EPW Perth or DM the page with the answers to the 3 questions. Why do you want to attend the camp? Telling them about your pro wrestling journey so far and how you'll use what you learn to give back to your community and peers. Big shout out to Gabby Russo and Brenton Cooper for their amazing support in that. It's such a cool thing for that to be there.
Also, just as a side note too, the scholarship covers the camp entry only. It doesn't include travel or accommodation. So I think it's important that we do point that out as well.
And also just clarifying that if you are already registered for the camp, you can still apply. So if you've already registered and you're thinking, I would have liked to have applied for it, but I registered early, go ahead and apply anyway. I'm sure the guys will be happy if you're successful to knock off the cost of the camp.
Absolutely. And, the skills that were look at the show that we just reviewed. Look at EPW Reawakening 24 and see the quality of wrestling that comes out of the training over there at Perth, right? It is something that is so good. And the fact that, we've got people out there like Gabby and Brenton supporting, especially women in pro wrestling in Australia, is so wonderful. Biggest shout out to those guys for the amazing, amazing opportunity that they're helping out with. And, we've seen it before, especially with women. Australia produces the best wrestlers in the world. Half of them are overseas now. Half of the bloody international rosters are full of women's champions that are from Australia. So I guess we're kind of obligated to talk about WWE and AEW and all that stuff. So I think we'll talk about everything that's going on around the world of wrestling.
Hang on. Don't do it. Don't say it. Tell them what's going on in the ad break.
In the ad break, you're going to see a little preview of an interview that I am very happy with that I did with the former dog, Cadie Tre of RCW, that's going to be going up on the Wrestle Radio Australia feed, I believe probably tomorrow night, so Friday, in your podcast feed of choice or on YouTube. So get amongst it. There's a preview coming up that you'll see right now.
Attention, trading card collectors! Are you ready to take your collection to the next level? Dive into the action with the limited edition Australian Wrestling Card, showcasing the most electrifying talent Australia has to offer. Imagine owning cards featuring legends such as Robbie Eagles, Shazza McKenzie, Shane Hayes, Madison Eagles, and many, many more. But that's not all. You'll also snag cards of the iconic referees, commentators, and announcers, just like me, Lord Andy Coyne, to truly capture the spirit of Australian independent wrestling. And as our homegrown talent continues to dominate the world stage, Ozres cards are destined to become hot commodities. Not only will you be owning a valuable piece of wrestling history, but you'll also be supporting the amazing wrestlers and talented photographers behind the magic. So don't wait. Grab your Australian wrestling cards now at pariomagazine.com.au/OzRes cards. Order today and kickstart your collection with a bang.
I don't know what it was exactly. Maybe it was a panic attack, but if that's the case, then that was one of 3 panic attacks that I had last year that affected me very badly, especially with the Cadie Tre character. It almost felt like I had to wear makeup as I went to the ring because the character you saw walking to the ring wasn't how I actually felt. And I know you're supposed to play this character, but it's really hard to play a character when you don't feel good inside.
And like when you're at that mental health level, like it affects everything, right? And you're talking about how that's affecting you in wrestling, but it also affects your day-to-day life. You know, like you were saying there that on the day of RCW 300, like you didn't make it into your work. You've got to get your parents in. Like there's a point where, you know, mental health is really important. We talk about it nonstop on this channel. It's a big focus here. And, you know, it's another example where it's one of these things where people try not to talk about it, and that can make things worse, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think professional wrestlers alone, like they struggle with it the most, but because to be a wrestler not even just in Australia, but anywhere in the world, like, you know, to fans, you're deceived as like superheroes, you're deceived as, you know, big, strong people, big, strong wrestlers. But in like the backstage, you know, you've almost proceeded as like, you're invincible, and you've got this, you've got like egotistical manners that there's nothing wrong with you, and you try to hide it. But it's hard when you know people are going through stuff, and you try to approach them and say, hey, like, if you want to talk about it, but they just want to be like, no, because they think that you're going to go behind their back or tell a whole bunch of people.
They say to be great, you have to learn how to lose, but that doesn't mean it sucks any less. Am I pissed about the way Endgame went? Oh, yeah. I had a very clear vision of how I wanted the year to end, and that was not it. This is normally the part where people start pointing fingers, shifting blame. They start making excuses, but I don't do excuses. The faithful don't deserve excuses. When you have a goal that you are chasing, it doesn't matter what setbacks you face, what hurdles you have to overcome. It doesn't matter if you're tired, if you're hurt, you keep moving. Not for glory, not for destiny, not because you believe it is owed to you, but because the one thing you refuse to do is stop. I failed at Endgame, and my head was not a good place to be, but I refuse to stop. I am kicked in the dirt, there is blood in my mouth, the boulder is rolled back down the mountain, but I'm going to do exactly what I said I would do, and that is push it back up. And it starts at Anniversary.
Hey everybody, it's the Radar Superstar Cope, Adam Copeland. I got a bunch of handles. Anyway, call me what you want, but you are listening to WRA, Wrestle Radio Australia.
Welcome back to Making Chicken Salad, the Wrestle Radio Australia show, where we talk about everything going on around the world of wrestling. And hey, if you want big news in the world of wrestling, it doesn't get much better than a WWE title change. That's right. We have a new WWE champion in the form of Drew McIntyre. I'm going to throw it to Jamie first. I know that... No.
Guy that doesn't watch WWE.
That's why I'm throwing to him first, right? Okay, so
tell us what you haven't seen, Jamie.
I get to pitch him the softball, and then I get to ask the other questions to you guys. Come on, keep up. Jamie, we know that Cody Rhodes has had this title for a long time. Do you see Drew McIntyre as somebody who can represent the WWE brand?
Yeah, I think Drew can. It just seems to have come out of kind of nowhere for me. I was like, what? What happened?
Well,
yeah.
they reckon that this has thrown, like, the WrestleMania plans completely now. They don't know what they're going to... Because apparently, originally, they were going to go with bloody Cody and Roman again. But now this is not... Apparently, this is not going to happen. So,
if that's the case, I much prefer this idea. Whatever it ends up being.
I'd honestly, I would rather see Roman and Punk at Mania.
Yeah.
Than like a Roman Cody 4.
Yep. Yeah, and I think that Drew is the kind of guy where there are so many people you can put against Drew, and it's an exciting matchup, right? Like, if it's Cody trying to take it off Drew back, like, that is not necessarily what I want to see, but it makes sense. But there's a roster full of guys who you go, yeah, this person one-on-one with Drew for the title. It becomes a big match. Jeff,
makes the Rumble a bit more unpredictable too.
Yeah, where do you think Cody goes from here, Jeff? Is it, we saw a big return that led to this title change. Is that the direction for Cody now?
I'm not sure. He's still kind of the franchise player, but I think that he wanted to lose this to, in some ways, freshen up his character. I think that the one thing we know about Cody Rhodes is he's a very smart wrestler in terms of, he kind of seems to control his own universe and his own little stories. And I think that this is really good for him as well. Get the belt off him for a while. Yeah, it's unpredictable. I didn't see it coming. I was pretty happy when it did. But I was like, oh yeah, Cody's going to win this in 3 and blah, 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 blah. No. And I think that in and of itself is a really smart decision. Cody will be at Mania, but doing what is the question?
Yeah. Well,
so that's as much as I can tell you from my perspective.
The title change was affected by Solo Sikoa, returning to, not Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu, interrupted in his return. My bad. And managed to, basically place that title directly onto Drew McIntyre's waist. So, we've got some other things happening at Saturday night's main event. We've got a number 1 contendership for the undisputed title at the Royal Rumble. Todd, do you think Saturday night's main event is Fatu versus Cody?
I can't imagine. They've got 2 matches booked already. They'll have another 2 maybe named. I can't see that it'll be Fatu and Cody, but who knows? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I would just think that they would sort of maybe try and wind that out to Rumble because, what were the competitors in the thing for the Raw tournament?
So it's Orton versus The Miz, it's Cardona versus Trick Williams, it's Damian Priest versus Solo Sikoa, and it's Sami Zayn versus Ilya Dragunov, which make that the main event of the show.
Yeah. Well, I honestly hope. Yeah, it is. I honestly hope that this leads to, like, Sami maybe at Mania for that one of the titles. Maybe Drew.
So, keeping in mind...
interesting statistic about that is Sami Zayn has never beaten Drew McIntyre. Ever. So I think if they're going to do it, and they've been telling that, they've been saying that on social media, they've been saying that in other places. And Sami's been saying it, and Drew's been saying it. So I think they're going to go ahead.
I'll jump over underwater, Jeff, for a second. I think there's also a really interesting story with Cardona, coming back, wanting to show that he is the kind of guy who can hold the WWE title. Like, that's a really compelling story. You've got Orton and The Miz, who are both, in the twilight side of their careers, wanting to prove they can have one last run. I think Orton probably fits that more than The Miz does.
Especially for his shot at the Rumble.
That's
Orton,
the interesting thing.
Orton
right?
fills that void of the Saudi people are going to know Orton.
Yeah. And I think anyone who doesn't win in the 4-way at Saturday night's main event, their story can be, well, now I have to win the Rumble to get that match that fell through my fingers. Especially if, because it's a 4-way, they don't have to get pinned or submitted to not win that match. So you can have, I was that close and it got taken away from me again. Now I have to climb the mountain the hard way to get that win. I could see that being a Sami Zayn story. I can see that being a Cardona story.
Yeah, for sure. Also, I didn't have it noted in our rundown, but we were talking last week about all these guys leaving NXT and going to the main roster. Who would kind of be filling these spots? This week on NXT, Keanu Carver has been added to the NXT roster, as well as the whole of the Vanity Project, and who was it? There was another one as well, I believe.
But yeah, big episode of NXT.
Eli Knight. Eli Knight.
Eli Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keanu
also
made one
hell of a day. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really good impact.
Also, more interesting is that the whole of the Vanity Project weren't under TKO deals. They were WWE ID guys and got signed straight from WWE ID to NXT contracts. So definitely showing that pathway.
There is a pathway
from WWE ID.
I think
to,
Sean Legacy. I think Sean Legacy's the same. I think he's been signed under the same kind of pattern as well.
But I mean, that just tells you, and that moves for more places open for these ID spots, which is only going to help the thing grow, really. So I think it's really smart.
Andy Savage also mentioning that Powerhouse Hobbs is leaving AEW, and that may be another NXT name that we see coming over. So that might fill out more of that top section of the card that has been emptied a little bit. But yeah, as we mentioned, there's two matches so far announced for Saturday night's main event, which is on January 24th, so a little over a week away. It's going to be that fatal 4-way number 1 contender match for the WWE Championship shot against McIntyre at the Rumble. And the other match is a women's tag team championship match with Rhea Ripley and Io Sky defending against the Judgment Day, Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez. I'm actually really liking what's going on in the women's tag division at the moment. The quality of tag teams that they've got in that division, it seems much less thrown together at the moment. And I think the fact that they've got so many women in the singles division who feel comfortable that they can put stars like Ripley and Sky and Liv Morgan and Charlotte and Alexa, and they go, yeah, you guys can be in the tag division and be a tag team. I think that's really beneficial for that division and for those titles.
Well, that's the bonus about having like Raquel, like Liv and Roxanne as like a trio Judgment Day. Like you can send Roxanne after Perez, because Liv Morgan and so you can send Raquel after Perez because Liv Morgan and Roxanne can tag for a while.
Yeah, Raquel after Vicker.
Definitely so.
Okay.
Yeah, Vicker.
Okay.
Okay, mate. Just one time you're not smoky and you're telling me what to do.
No, I'm high as hell.
And he's about to get shot. Let's take it over to AEW, where all 4 of the Rascals have reportedly signed to AEW.
I wanted to just quickly add something regarding the women's tag division, and further to what Todd said. I completely agree, and Raquel Rodriguez has been phenomenal as that heel against Stephanie Vaquer. Just amazing. So good.
And I think when you've got someone like Vaquer who is really capable and is able to, get thrown around a bit, and you kind of trust that she's going to be safe with it, you can let Raquel look like an absolute beast, which is what she needs to do. Right? So that's really good. But yeah, over in AEW, all 4 Rascals reportedly signed, as well as some dual contracts that have been signed by Mascara Dorada, Hechicero, and Persephone. So like a lot of contract moving over in AEW, as well as, we talked about Powerhouse Hobbs with the contract expiring at midnight, which was, 5 hours ago as we speak, with the expectation that he might be headed to WWE. So the AEW shakeup is really going on at the moment.
Yeah, and it's also like that's 3 CMLL people on dual contracts. Dual contracts are fine until you find out which way they're weighted.
Yeah.
Like,
who has priority on those?
Yeah, if it comes to nut cutting time, if there's a CMLL show or an AEW show on, who's going to get the... Because I've got a fair idea who it's going to be.
Yeah.
Hello, Tony.
Yeah,
Tony's
I
got the
feel like-
dollars.
I feel like Tony's buying all the dolls and saying, you can play with the dolls, but not when I'm playing with the dolls.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, all of those people are good workers, right? No, I don't think anyone's mad to see them on TV.
No, well, how often are we going to see them?
They're going to be on TV. That's the question, right?
And you can't tell me that he might not be slightly worried about this TNA TV deal. When he swoops in and signs 4 of the guys away from them.
And then if you look at the card today, it was like Doyle was wrestling on the show. Josh Alexander had a big match, like big segment on the show against Kenny. And then they announced that the Rascals were coming as well. It's like, hey, TNA, we got all your main guys. All your big, fresh talent guys.
Wasn't the TNA debut show supposed to have Myron Reed versus Leon Slater?
Yeah, it was.
It was announced and has
early
been...
in the week. Yeah, it got scrapped early in the week.
That didn't
so...
that.
Yeah, interesting. There you go.
Do you know what? Do you know what you do if you're TNA? You go, hey, WWE,
send us.
What's AJ doing?
Well, they've got it. AJ's announced for the show.
I know he's announced for it. You reckon he could wrestle?
I think that they would save Slater against AJ for WrestleMania, because it's AJ's last WrestleMania.
So that's fucking
but it's
WWE.
not TNA show.
If you want to help TNA, you go, hey.
Oh, right. From
AJ can work. Yeah. Let AJ work Slater on that show. It shows that I need to tune into Impact every week because I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's complete.
Like AJ Styles could wrestle any week on this thing. We just don't know.
I think they're much more likely to start building something for AJ to do a Bound for Glory or Slammiversary match, right?
So, well, I think that is what the original plan definitely is. And I mean, maybe him and Frankie. But
yeah,
if you
maybe
want something where it's like, holy shit, and they're in a bit of a like sticky situation at the moment because of all this stuff that's been going on. It's not a bad way out of it.
I tell you what, it also doesn't need to be a lot of a match, right?
No.
You have some heel come out and talk smack, and then Styles hits him with a phenomenal forearm and a Styles clash, and that's a match. Right? So, there's options there.
Even if they get AJ and Slater to tag together.
Yeah.
That would be
even
great.
if it's just a tag, and then they can...
If it's a tag, if they're having a match and a heel tag team come out, off you go.
Yeah, definitely an option. And look, I mean, there's plenty of opportunities there for AEW to, TNA, with AEW taking the Rascals away kind of all of a sudden, it gives TNA an opportunity to turn chicken shit into chicken salad, right? And so that's the thing that we talk about here every week. We talk about our chicken shit for the week, our chicken salad for the week. Let's kick off with what we're not happy with this week. And I might pass it to Todd first, because I know he's got some stuff to discuss. Todd, have you got a soundbite for us, first of all?
I do.
Plain chicken shit.
Chicken shit?
Chicken shit.
Yeah, my chicken shit is like, it's something that I've been trying to ignore, because I don't like punching down. Like, I really don't. That's why I didn't like when that other place did it, the other podcast did it. I just don't like punching down at the best of times. But, you know, sometimes people just need to wrap around the fucking ears. And the group I'm talking about is that if you follow an Instagram page, oh geez, what do they call it? Is it Trash Bagger Police? I think it is on Instagram.
Yeah,
there's an Instagram page that uses an AI voiceover to talk about things they don't like in Australian wrestling.
Yeah, well, this group are regular co-stars on that channel, and it is CWE, or Championship Wrestling Entertainment, which they don't do anything near two of those words. And now, like, I think that they've joined up, or they've now with Revolution Wrestling, which is, again, really doesn't do one of those words. The way this thing started, it's in like Tailem Bend in South Australia, which is like small, like country area. But if my memory serves me correctly, they tried to start a school in a park. So you would come and learn professional wrestling in a park. So this is what we're starting with. No real reputable trainer either. So it was like, yeah, that's where we were starting. And of course they kept naming. There was one thing where they named a show. We're going to have, I think it was called November to Dismember. We don't know what the date is. We don't know what the venue is. We don't know what the time is yet. But we'll get back to you on that. But I don't think that ever actually happened. Yeah, I know.
Buy your tickets now.
What? Yeah. The thing that really ticked me off this week, and it was something that I was just like, I can't believe that in the year our Lord 2026, this shit still is going on. They've got a gimmick there. It's a German colonel gimmick called Simon Wagner, which isn't bad enough. The fact that they actually tried to plan a German prison match. I mean, what in the ever-loving fuck? Not to mention that they got some kickback. Obviously, they got some kickback. So now they've changed it to just an Australian prison match, because that's better. That's so much better. Fucking idiots. Then to add to the shithousery that is CWE and Revolution Wrestling, there's a Revolution champion, and I say that in inverted commas, Dingo Richards, who, like, if you've been around wrestling in Adelaide, you realise why he's out there wrestling there now, was apparently their champion, or is apparently their champion. Apparently defended his title in Filipino pro wrestling by defeating a guy called Good Guy Quattro, therefore making their championship a world championship. There was just one problem with that. On the post where they said that, Good Guy Quattro actually commented on it, going, "When did this happen? I don't remember." Oh, good luck then.
That's a great look.
Quote from Revolution Wrestling. Sorry, quote from Revolution Wrestling. Revolution Wrestling is currently investigating what is actually going on here. Once we find out exactly what happened in the Philippines, we will repost the post with the accurate information. Thank you all.
Yeah, the accurate information is that you are shit C-bombs. That is the accurate information. You've got two or three guys that look like they're in shape, but the other guys, oh my God, it is the biggest. I mean, we don't like talking about it, but in wrestling in general, in Australian wrestling, there are certain tiers of companies. Like you've got your MCWs, your PWAs, your Riot Cities, your EPWs. They're kind of like your pro leagues even. They're all like sort of tier one sort of thing. And then you've got the guys that are just underneath there that are like bringing these guys are like Sunday League football wrestlers. Like, it doesn't look like they train. It doesn't look like they have the right gear. The stuff that I've seen online with these trash baggers, police stuff, is that they do stuff that I cannot believe. They talked some, like, fate or show into letting them be on the fucking thing. So next thing you know, there is handheld camera video of them fighting through, like, crazy castles and shit. And when I say fighting, again, inverted commas, because barely any of the strikes come within 3 feet of each other. That in itself is bad enough. The whole thing with the German fucking... This is 2026, you dumb... Ooh. Nearly dropped
Almost
it.
pulled a Jeff.
As Bloody DJ says, we can call them Northern Territory tourism stickers.
Yes. I nearly dropped a SETI.
See you next Tuesday.
Pull your fucking heads in.
Yeah, in the current global climate, it's a terrible thing to do. Like, what are you doing?
Yes. What are you fucking doing? You're fucking idiots. One of you, I know, has always been a fucking idiot. And it seems to fucking spread amongst you. Not one working chromosome amongst you.
As someone who is of a faith, that made me laugh. Thank you, Todd. As someone who is of a faith, I can tell you now, calling a match a German prison match or a German prison yard match, fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, ask Todd how outraged I was. He dropped it in our chat, and I went from like DEFCON 0 to 100 in half a second. As soon as I saw that, I didn't know what to write. I don't know what to say. Todd wanted to talk about this, so he kindly requested that I didn't use this as my chicken shit this week. And I've got something else. But yeah, this is really my chicken shit this week, as you all understand. Do not ever, under any circumstances, we have a lot of expat Germans that live in this country that may or may not be wrestling fans. You need to take those people into consideration before you do a shit thing like this.
I'm terrible with like geography. I don't know how close Harndorf is to Tail and Bend, but if it is, Jesus fucking Christ, what are you doing? You fucking knuckle dragon idiots. Yeah. Pull your fucking heads in.
Sometimes people are selling tickets to something, and if they know the wrestling is not good enough to sell the tickets, they rely on something else. Right? If you are that shit at wrestling that this is what you have to resort to sell tickets, why the fuck are you putting on a wrestling show?
Yep.
If you know that your in-ring quality is that bad,
tickets.
don't bother.
No.
I think that would have maybe turned people away rather than sell you tickets.
But in their heads, mate, they think that they're fucking brilliant. In their heads, they think they're one step below WWE. Because they've deluded themselves to think that they're actually... Like, if you've ever seen any of this stuff, I would have loved to have put some of their highlights on this thing just to show you how out of wind they get by fucking running from turnbuckle to turnbuckle. Let alone
it's the classic shindy wrestling that makes everyone else look terrible.
And that's the thing. That's my biggest problem, aside from the outrageous fucking dumb-mindedness of doing that sort of a gimmick. That gimmick alone is fucking dumb. Using the gimmick to do a match is even fucking dumber. The problem is, right, it is really easy it's really hard to turn people on to wrestling. It is really easy to turn people off it.
Yep.
And you guys, you might love wrestling. You might watch it all the time. Guess what? You are the worst thing about wrestling. You are the reason people stop watching wrestling. You are the reason people go, I fucking knew that indie wrestling was just all bullshit. Look at these fucking idiots.
Now, normally,
You can't break wind, let alone fucking throw a punch.
Normally, one of us would say the views of Todd are not necessarily the views of the show. Not this time. The views of Todd.
Todd
are
represents
views
the
of
show on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we're all on board.
And like,
with
I don't care if anyone wants to message me. Come and fucking message me. I don't give a shit. I do not think anything of you at all.
Fuck CWE.
Yeah.
There we go.
Really,
Jeff.
and it's easy. It's easy to do better. The fact is, it's easy to do better. Sorry, were you shouting out my chicken shit?
No, you know what it is, though? The problem is, it's
here we go.
The problem is, it's not easier to do better, and that's why they don't do it. Because they don't want to fucking work. They just want to rock up and do a fucking show.
Yeah. No, I mean it's easier to do better from the awful name of that match.
I know.
Yeah, they just had to drop one word out of that match, and it was fine.
Yeah, you want to call it a prison match?
Yeah, drop the link for the tickets out of it so that no one can buy it. Anyway.
Jeff's turn.
Jeff, chicken shit.
Try and be as mad as me.
Well, it was that, but what I've changed.
We've all got that one.
Yeah, that's a show chicken shit. What I've changed it to, or got this week, is the booking of the new NXT champion. It was just like, oh yeah, what are we going to do? Oh, a 6-way ladder match for the title. The NXT's 6-way ladder matches for titles are AEW's tournaments. They're exactly like they're done about as often, and it's just lazy. Like, I was like, okay, let's see how they get themselves out of this. That's it. That's kind of it. Sure.
Well, the problem is really, aside from like Starks, who can you see as their next champion at the moment? There.
Well,
that's what I mean. It's a literal crapshoot. So, like, if you said, okay, we're going to do a tournament, and here's the guys that are in the tournament, you go, okay, well, Starks is just going to win this fucking tournament. Like, I must admit, I did like the fact that they tried during the night. Ethan Page wanted to be in it, and she said, okay, give up your title. I'm not giving that title.
I thought that was good. I thought that was good. You put me on the spot, Todd.
Sorry, mate. Sorry, brother.
Right, mate.
But no, like when you look at it, like, because I was just saying, I was like, oh, great, a fucking ladder match, yeah. But then I took like a back view of it, and I'm just like, well, yeah, who else?
What else?
They're just gonna,
like,
no one else. Go, oh well, Alexis King's going to be the next champion, because that would make zero sense.
This is and that's another thing. That's another thing. That kid is just. I think every time I see him, I'm like, that kid's drowning right now. He is literally drowning. He's not putting together good segments. He's not that good in ring. All he's got is a good finisher, and it's just like, I hope he finds it soon.
I actually think he is good in ring, and they're just using him to help enhance people. I think that when it's his time, that maybe they'll pull the trigger on him. But
they're not doing anything to have him shine at the moment.
No, they're certainly not.
But they use him to help shine guys up, which is a trait for something who is an actual good worker, but they don't really have anything for him. But hey, he can make this guy.
But he's not
for the longest time.
He's not. He's barely on TV. And whenever he is, the crowd just give him silence because he's on that rarely.
Yeah.
You
know.
Anyway, Jamie, chicken shit.
So mine is basically just the TNA thing at the moment. It feels like they should be in a much more solid position than they are leading into. They just got paid this big money for this new TV deal.
Wow.
And it feels like
money.
But it feels like this first show is just a total shambles, and they've got not a lot on. Like, I just looked it up. The poster has 3 matches announced for their debut show.
How long is their show?
Usually 2 hours.
Okay. I wasn't sure if it had changed going to...
I think it's 2 hours. If it's only an hour, then... Yeah, if it's only an hour, 3 makes sense. But if it's
3 matches, AJ...
that's it.
Joe Hendry's been announced. I couldn't remember his name. So it was the only way I could remember it.
And they've also got Bully Ray is going to be on commentary for the main event. It's like,
Yeah.
Yay, whoop-de-doo. And Perez Hilton is going to be there. I'm like, okay, we're pulling out celebrities from
Yeah.
the
I'm
early
pretty sure that
2000s.
That's
Mate,
probably
if you're going to do those inverted
I
commas
am.
for Perez Hilton, the hands are out here because that's about how far you're stretching the word celebrity for it.
Yeah, it just feels like they're in a bad spot for a show that this is our debut, and I look at the poster and go, I hope the AJ segment's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the inspiration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
And also, where the hell do I watch this in Australia?
Yeah, I don't know. I think you can still watch it on the TNA app.
On the app.
Okay. Because I was looking for it on everything today. I'm like, where do I watch this show? Like,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
it being their debut, I feel like I probably should check it out to see how it goes. But
yeah.
couldn't find it online. Couldn't find it on their socials. Like, cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's still on the TNA app.
Okay.
I would hope so.
I'll test their website tomorrow.
My chicken shit for the week is that it's just like normally this time of year is really fun because we're gearing up for the Royal Rumble. And this year, because I'm not going to be watching the Royal Rumble, I don't have that fun. And I can see that WWE knows that a lot of people aren't going to be watching the Rumble, which seems to be why they are kind of stacking all of the motion at the moment towards Saturday night's main event, which is happening like a week before the Rumble, which I think is good positioning by them to give them something to do for people who won't be tuning into the Rumble. I think it's really clever, but it is just disappointing that, that is normally a show where at this point in the year, everything's really exciting because we're gearing up for that. And at the moment, we're just not. So
I've got a question, right? And this is not like an attack at all. How many people do you think are like you will just won't watch it because it's in Saudi? Like honestly, how many people? Or do you think there's been that many shows now that I don't think people care anymore?
I don't know, but I think that it's noticeable, right? I think that if you combine a couple of things, I think if you combine people who would normally watch the show live, but because the time makes it so different, they will just catch up afterwards. That is, I think, probably a fairly sizable chunk. That might even be like, when I say catch up afterwards, just see the results and go like, yeah, I don't need to watch that. I think that chunk might actually be maybe more significant than the people like me who are not watching it because it's in Saudi. But I think that I think it's going to be a less viewed Rumble this year by an amount that they can notice.
I think a lot of people only watch the Rumbles.
Yeah. I think WWE are already seeing the inflated ticket prices begin to have an effect. Like, if you've noticed, the linguistics have gone from we have a sold-out crowd here of blah, 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 blah. They just don't mention crowd sizes anymore because apparently the hard cams are really, really empty now. Like, they've priced themselves out of the market, and I think that that's even more of a problem for, they're going to have viewers between Rumble and Mania because they always do, but I think then they're just going to experience a drop-off. They really will, no matter how good it is, because now they've priced themselves out of the market. There's not much they can do. Also, remember that wrestling is the domain of people who like to yell and scream and just let tension out and give people the finger and things like that. It's always been a lower socioeconomic form of entertainment, particularly in America. And I think that the impact of the higher ticket prices will eventually impact the crowd noise, which eventually will impact the wrestlers, which means we're in for a really tough few years. Something that I thought of during the break, and I'm like...
Well, that's why you notice WWE overseas a lot more, because those crowds are always better.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
But
they can't go overseas. They can't go overseas every single week.
No, and like I said, like time difference makes a difference for viewership as well. Like I don't know when they come down to Australia, I don't know what those pay-per-views look like number-wise for viewers. those PLEs, I should say, because the time difference is going to stop people from watching it.
The money's already been bought. They don't have to worry about that anymore, bro.
No, they don't. But yeah,
Although,
that's a personal chicken shit.
2026 is the last year of the agreement between Perth and TKO. It's the final year. So be interesting to see what happens then.
Interesting to see. Well, let's turn it around and talk about chicken salad. I might go first because I think there's a chance that I steal Jamie's and there's a chance that I steal Todd's here. So I'm going to fire it away. I really like seeing Davis and Doyle as the number one contenders for the tag titles in AEW. I love seeing Mark Davis on my TV. Love seeing him get shots at gold. I think that, you know, the fact that Doyle is something of a fresh face there and they've put him into a good position immediately, I think is bloody excellent. Jamie, chicken salad?
Yeah, my big upset win for Davis and Doyle today on Dynamite was awesome.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And there's a show coming up in a month's time. It would be a good fit.
Interesting.
Which
Yeah,
they really need to start promoting.
They do.
I was going to say, yeah, try answering a fucking email. That'd be great. I mean,
Or announce a match.
Announce a match.
A person who's going to be there.
Announce talent.
Just one person, please.
Jeff, chicken salad.
I got two. Firstly, I mentioned it earlier, but Raquel Rodriguez is doing phenomenal work against Effica. It's really great. She has become
I love
someone...
that she's calling herself Big Mummy Cool. I love that
Big
shit.
Mummy Cool. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. It's great to see, considering her medical history. She was never going to come back. She was never going to be in this spot, but now she is. She's making the most of it. And you love to see that. You really do. The other thing, I just want to shout this out. The other night, I was, after taking some medicine, I was sitting on the couch and I'm like, what do I want to do? I want to watch old Memphis wrestling, but I can't be bothered finding all the places I have weird Memphis wrestling on. So I went to YouTube and I just put Memphis wrestling. And there's so much 80s Memphis wrestling on there. It's brilliant. It's just a feast of 80s wrestling. Memphis wrestling, which was ECW before ECW was ECW. It's full of like hardcore battles and stuff like this. A lot of fun and some crazy characters. There's a guy there called Dirty Rhodes who does a Dusty Rhodes impersonation that's so bad it's amazing.
Is this like the new Memphis wrestling?
No, this is the old 80s stuff, mate.
Oh, okay, sorry, because I know there's new Memphis wrestling, and that some of that stuff is abysmal. They had like Justin Credible there recently.
Whoa.
And he did not look credible.
And he's not without his controversies either, just, Pete Polacco. So, yeah, check out some of the 80s stuff. You know, obviously you've got Jerry the King Lawler. Your mileage may vary as he is a very controversial personality as well. The one I chose didn't have Lawler. He lost the Loser Leaves Town match to Dutch Mantell and Dundee, Bill Dundee. Dundee is incredibly entertaining. The fact that he never got to WWE is a crying shame, more so because of his height than anything else.
Yeah, well, he would have been mini honky tonk man, that haircut.
Yeah, pretty much. And he's local. He's an Australian as well.
Yeah, it's
locally.
Watching old wrestling's great. I'll say I was watching a lot of AJW over the holidays. A lot of All Japan Women's. Dream Slam, especially. What a card. Todd.
Of course you were, nerd.
Chicken salad.
Fucking hell.
Not as good as Stardom or TJPW, but
I need to get that fucking nerd soundboard. I really do. And just call it the Locky. My chicken salad this week was Adam Pearce on Raw. His interaction with Braun Breaker.
Right.
Fucking chef's kiss. I don't know, because I know you don't watch it, Jamie, but do yourself a favor and try and find that, because like it looks as real as you'll get in one of those shows. Like he loses his shit at Braun, and just that sinking realization at the end when Paul Heyman goes, he didn't touch you first, and then just walks off, and like you can see Adam just go, fuck. So so very good, to the point where like there was a point during that where I'm thinking, oh, they're gonna let Adam wrestle. So I mean, awesome. Yeah, That was my chicken salad this week. I thought he was really good on, and also I'm really looking forward to Punk and Balor next week.
Yeah.
I saw that awesome drone footage of Braun
the spear
running down the ramp to do the spear. That was pretty cool.
Just shouting out something bloody DJ said. They love the stories from those days. The heat the heels used to get after the shows. The Kempatera incident is just hilarious. The empty arena match, the empty arena match, which is Jerry Lawler Terry Funk, which is fantastic. Evidently, Terry Funk was that hated in Memphis, he needed a police escort everywhere he went.
God bless.
Back in those days. Amazing. So good. Funker was amazing.
And I'll also throw in just an extra little chicken salad for me, which is I had an absolute blast talking to Cadie Tre this week. We went real deep, as you may have seen in that little preview we did there, and it was an absolute delight talking to Cadie. Really happy with how that interview turned out. So I really hope that everyone, if you are listening to this, that you're subscribed to Wrestle Radio Australia so you can get that as soon as it comes out tomorrow night. If you haven't subscribed already, do it. It's free. You can do it on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podcast Addict, Twitch, anywhere you get your podcasts from. If you're on Apple Podcasts and you could give us a 5-star review, it's really helpful. It helps us to get into more ears. It's a big deal. We're also on Redbubble with our merch. If you go to Redbubble, search for Wrestle Radio Australia, you can buy our merch. The proceeds go to Beyond Blue and Gotcha for Life, which are charities that support mental health here in Australia. If you're looking for other merch, kickout.com.au has merch of Queensland wrestlers and wrestlers from around Australia. If you're a wrestler and you want your merch on Kickout, send them a message on their Instagram page at Kickout. Head to kickout.com.au to grab that merch. We've got the social media. We're at Wrestle Radio AU on the social media, or Wrestle Radio Australia on Facebook, twitch.tv/Wrestle Radio Australia. I just want to say quickly, as far as following us on those podcast platforms, it's something that's really easy to do, but it does make a big difference to us. It's really nice when we get those subscribers, we get those follows. So it takes 30 seconds. Head on over to YouTube, search for Wrestle Radio Australia, hit subscribe. Open your podcast app, search Wrestle Radio Australia, hit subscribe. It's really easy, and it means the world to us. So if you could do those things, it really does go a long way. Social media, you can also follow us at Lachlan Albert for me, at Beast Eastman for Todd, at Jamie Apps Media for Jamie, and Jeff said he has at Wrestle_Brainia. Jeff, what's WrestleBrainia's year looking like?
WrestleBrainia's year is looking busy as always. We are at the Garden of Unearthly Delights. I think it's Feb 27th of March. Those 4 nights are going to be incredible. I know I said I'd release some talents today, but I'm going to leave it for another week just because you won't believe who we've got. It is amazing. I'm so excited about these names from Riot City Wrestling, our good mates at Riot City Wrestling. Come and check out WrestleBrainia at the Garden. We can't wait to do that with you guys in the room.
Wicked stuff. Jamie, you've got 1,000,001 things going on. Tell us about them. Whoa.
There's
Jamie, tell us. I'll let the
Jamie
dog go.
at my house.
I'll let the dog go.
Jamie's buying a flavor saver. I don't know.
So I've got 28 Years Later review dropping tomorrow, and then this one is just for Jeff. Next week, I have an interview with Shannon Knoll.
I can't wait, mate. I'm there, mate. I can't wait.
Shannon Knoll on the cover, mate.
Did you talk about the Crazy Horse by any chance?
No.
Missed opportunity.
And then the other thing is Peggy and I returned to doing Dynamite streams today on my channel now. So it'll be over on Pario Magazine's YouTube channel every week.
Hey. Hell yeah. Todd, is there anything you need to mention?
Sweet F all, mate.
Great. Yeah.
I'm being very
Jeff,
quiet.
anything else you need to bring up before we go?
Tickets, there is. Tickets for Melbourne will be on sale soon. We're just waiting for the comedy festival to cross some T's and dot some I's. Some of the people from Melbourne, wow, we've got award winners. We've got people who have travelled, not within Australia, but overseas. It's exciting stuff. We can't wait. And I don't just mean Tasmania.
No.
That's wicked. Well, look, my my thing every week is I just love doing this. I love getting on here. I love talking wrestling. It's always such a blast. If you enjoyed hearing about the show we talked about, you should absolutely check that one out. EPW's Reawakening 24, vimeo.com/EPW Perth to get access to all of EPW's shows because they are cracking stuff. So get amongst that. On behalf of Todd Eastman, Jeff Setti, and Jamie Apps, this has been Making Chicken Salad. I've been Lachlan Albert. Till next time, have a good one.
Tanahashi's just finished the lap.
Trying to make chicken salad out of chicken shit, and it was just awful.
I've turned chicken salad into chicken shit. I will continue to do so.
Making chicken salad out of chicken shit.
Make chicken salad out of chicken.